Okay, so we're going to go over Scout's commands and show you how you can stay consistent with her once she's at home with you. So, her first command is heel. This is loose leash walking on your left hand side. You want Scout right next to you, her head right next to your thigh. She's not pulling ahead too far, she's not wiggling too far to the sides. And you want her paying attention to you, again, right there next to you on the left-hand side. If she gets too far ahead, we'll show you how to correct her in a minute, but we want her right there, and then you can reward her when she's right there next to you paying attention. So that is heel, loose leash walking on the left-hand side. Her next command is a sit stay. So you'll ask Scout to sit. Once she's in that sit position, if you want to leave her and go do something else, you'll just remind Scout sit before you walk away. Then you always want to come back to her to reward and release her. So you come all the way back to her. Good sit. Then you can reward her and release her by saying free or heel. The free command is just her release word to release her from a command she's already in. So if she's in a sit state, you'll say free to let her do what she wants, go sniff, if she's outside to go potty, things like that. But if you wanted her with you, you would say heel. So that is sit stay. Again, you'll just remind her sit before you walk away to go do something else. Her next command is a down stay. Same as the sit, you'll ask her to go into that down. Once she's in that down, you can reward her close to the ground. Then once she's in that down, if you want to go do something, you'll remind her down before you walk away. Then you're free to go do what you want, and you can come back to her, good down, reward her for that, and release her again into a free or a heel, whatever you wanted her to do next. But you always want to come all the way back to Scout to release and reward her. So that is down stay. Her next command is place stay. So unlike the sit stay and the down stay, Scout's now going to be on an elevated boundary like the beds in the pictures. So you'll send her to place or walk her to place. Then for this one, you want to reward on the bed. So you'll place treats on each side of the bed. Good place. Reward her for getting on the bed. Reward her for staying on the bed. Then same as the sit stay and the down stay, you'll remind her place before you walk away. Then you're free to go make dinner or watch a movie, things like that. Every once in a while, Scout may need a little reminder like good place, or reward her every once in a while to let her know that she's doing a good job. But you'll just remind her place before you walk away. Then again, you can go do what you want to do. This one especially, we always want to go back to her to reward and release. Same as the other ones, always go all the way back to her. Go back to the bed, you can reward on the bed again, good place. And then again, you can release her into a free or a heel. So that is her place stay. Her next command is recall or come when called. So you have Scout out in the yard, she's running, playing, sniffing, maybe going potty, and you're ready for her to come back to you. You're going to say come really loud and firm so that Scout hears you and knows the command. Then she should turn around, come running back towards you. As she's running back towards you, you can verbally praise her. Good girl, good job, Scout, good girl. Then once she's back to you, you can reward her for this command. It's especially important to reward this command because we want her to know that you're more exciting than what was just out in the yard. So you can verbally praise her as she's coming back, maybe take a few steps back to welcome her into your space. Then once she's back to you and sitting, you can reward her. You can reward her with treats, with praise and petting, anything like that that's going to be a reward and keep Scout interested in coming back to you. So if it's an emergency situation where she's running towards the road or something, you have a way to get her back to you and she's excited to come back to you and it's not a struggle. So again, we want to keep this one really fun and interesting. We want to make sure that we really reward Scout for this one. So again, you'll say come really loud and firm. You can take a few steps backwards to welcome her into your space, and that'll help if there's multiple people in the yard. She'll know who she's coming to. So a few steps backwards, verbally praise her as she's coming back. Good girl, good job, Scout. Then once she's back to you and sitting, you can reward her with praise, petting, and treats. Then she's supposed to stay in that sit until you release her by saying free or heel. Again, whatever you wanted her to do next. So that is recall or come when called. Her last command is leave it. So you've dropped something on the ground and you don't want Scout to have it, or it's something that she can't have. You're going to say leave it. And then I always try to reward her from my hand or give her some pets to let her know that she did a good job leaving that. But you want to practice this one with dog safe foods first. That way it's okay if she gets it. That way we have a way to correct her. But it's okay if she gets it the first couple times if we're practicing with her. That way we can correct her for that. But you want to practice again, leave it with dog safe foods first, just in case she were to get it when you're practicing the first couple times. So chicken, hot dogs, her treats, her food, things like that. Again, that would be okay if she got it the first couple times, but we don't want her to get it, so we want to ask her to leave it, and then we either have her leash on or the remote collar to correct her away from that if she starts to go towards it. But if we say leave it and she either looks at us or doesn't pay attention to what we dropped on the ground, then we want to reward her again with praise, petting her treats to let her know that she did a good job of leaving what was on the ground. So if it's a pill or medicine that she's not supposed to have, that way she's prepared for that situation in the future. So that is leave it. Again, her commands are heel, loose leash walking on the left-hand side, a sit stay, a down stay, a place stay, recall or come when called, and leave it. So those are her commands, but if Scout chooses to not do those commands, we're going to give her a correction. If she chooses to do those commands, then we want to reward her to let her know that she's doing a good job and doing wanted behaviors. But if Scout doesn't listen to one of our commands, or she gets up from one of our commands and chooses to do an unwanted behavior, we're going to correct her with the remote collars and her prong collar. So first, this is her prong collar. To get this on and off of Scout, what we're going to do is pinch these two together and pull them apart. Do that again. Pull up, pinch them together, and pull apart. Then once these prongs are apart, we're going to put one side back in around Scout's neck. We're going to pinch them together and slide the other side in. Then this should sit on Scout's neck like this. That way, nice and relaxed. This needs to be relaxed when she's in our space. So if she's heeling and she's right here next to us, we want to have this nice and relaxed so there's no tension on this collar, and so she's not getting any sort of correction when she's in our space. So nice and relaxed when she's in our space. Then, if Scout needs any type of correction, we're going to do a quick pop and release. Just a quick pop and release. You don't need to tug on it. Quick pop and releases. So then, once she's in that command, we need it nice and relaxed. But if she's in the heel command and it's nice and relaxed, and then she starts to get a little funky and starts to walk too far ahead of us, we're going to say no, give her a quick pop and release, and then she should come back into our space. If she doesn't come back right away, we'll give her a few more pops till she's back in our space. Then, if she's back in our space, nice and relaxed again. So that is how to correct her for a heel. If she's in a sit stay and she gets up, we'll do a quick pop and release up to let her know that she needs to be sitting down. If she gets up from a down stay, we'll do a quick pop and release down so that she knows she's supposed to be in that down. So that's how to correct her with a prong collar. You'll say no, give her a quick pop and release with this collar, and then you can repeat the command that she's in. Then for the remote collar, on the collar, there's a small red key here. This is a magnet. And then on the remote, you'll see on the side here, there's another small red magnet. So to turn the collar on, we're going to tap these two together until you see that green light flash. It's just a quick tap, and that green light should flash at you. Then it's going to flash green every couple seconds to let you know that it's on. Now that the collar is on, for the remote, on the back of this remote, there's this L button in the center. You're going to press and hold that button until our screen lights up. Now both the remote and the collar are on. And I'm going to pretend for a second that my hand is Scout's neck. And then to the side of this remote, there's a black S button here at the top here. That is Scout's correction level. So if she's in a heel and again starts to be a little funky, gets too far ahead of us, we're going to say no, press that black S button, and then remind her that she's supposed to be in that heel position. If she gets up from a sit stay, we're going to say no, press the black S button, remind her that she's supposed to be sitting. Same for the rest of her commands, no button, and then we remind her what she was doing or what command she was in. We can also use this for if Scout is jumpy or gets a little too much. We can say no, press the black S button to let her know that she's doing an unwanted behavior like jumping up on people. So that's how to correct her quickly with these collars, and we've gone over her commands. So now we're going to show you Scout's commands. Morning. Down. Good, down. Good, down. Good girl. Down. Good, down. Good girl. Free. Good girl. Sit. Leave it. Leave it. Okay. Free. Leave it. Okay. One more. Free. Leave it. Leave it. Okay. Okay, so now that we've gone over and shown you Scout's commands, we're going to go over the collars more in depth. So again, for the prong collar, we'll pull them apart, and then to put it back together, you'll put it around Scout's neck. You'll put one side in, pinch them together, and slide that other side in. Then to correct her with this one, you're going to say no, give her a quick pop and release with this collar, and remind her of the command that she was already in before. So that's for the prong collar. Then for this remote collar, it's already turned on, but to turn it off, you're going to tap those two red magnets together again, and it'll flash a red light. Now the collar is off. And then for the remote, same thing to get it on, press and hold that L button in the center. So we're going to turn them back on really quick, tap them together, green light, press and hold the L button until your screen lights up. So now both the remote and the collar are turned on. And you'll see on this collar, or on this remote right here, is the black S button that we use for her correction level. And you'll see on the screen right here that that is set at level 20. That is the level that's been working for Scout. That may need to change, and I'll show you how to do that later. But the black S button is her correction level. That is level 20. Under that button is a red S button. This is what we call the boost feature or emergency feature. So if Scout took off towards the road and there's cars coming and you've already said no, press the black S button and said come, and she's still just not listening to you, she's too focused on what's in the road, and you need her to come back to you, you're going to say no, and you're going to start pressing the red S button. What this does is it changes Scout's level from 20 to 40. This should communicate with her that you need her attention, because she might have a little bit higher of adrenaline in that situation, and she might not be able to feel the 20 as well as she usually does. So then we'll switch to the 40. That way we communicate with her that we need her attention and we need it right now. So that is her boost feature or emergency feature. So again, level 20 is the black S button, and then when we press the red S button, it changes her level to 40. Then on the opposite side of the remote is the black T button, and what that is the vibrate feature. I haven't used this on Scout, but you may use it in this future for Scout as a warning. So if she's doing really good with you and she does something that might warrant a correction if she continues to do it, but the first time it didn't really warrant a correction because it wasn't a huge deal, then you can always use the T button to give her a little vibration on her neck and kind of give her a warning like, hey, that was kind of unwanted, but if you keep doing it, you're going to get a correction level. So that is the black T button on the side here. Then on the back of our remote is that L button that we use to turn the remote on and off. If I press and hold that, that turns the remote on and off. But if I just tap it, it turns the flashlight feature on. And when we put this on Scout, I try to make sure that this part that blinks here is pointed up towards her face. That way, if you do want to use the flashlight feature on Scout, then you can see her in the dark. So again, tap the L button to turn the remote, or to turn the collar flashlight on. Press and hold it to turn the remote on and off. Then next to that button is a teeny tiny M/C button. That changes the collar from momentary to continuous. Scout's on momentary right now, and there shouldn't be any reason to change her back to continuous, so you shouldn't need to worry about that button at all. Then on the top of this remote here, you'll see this dial. If I move it right now, it is not changing. It is locked in at 20. And if, again, Scout's level needs to change once she's home, or you take her out in public and it needs to change when she's out in public, then I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to press and hold this button down until that 20 blinked. You can see how easily that changed back to 0. So we'll put it to 20. And now we can change that level. So if you get home and you feel like 20 is too much for Scout, then you're going to change it to, we can try 15. Or if you get Scout home and it's at 20 and you have a bunch of people coming over and she's just not responding to the 20, we can try to change her to 25. You'll just have to see what works. But right now, for when she's here, 20 has been working just fine with her. So we're going to put it back to 20, and then we're going to lock that back in place. So to do that, we're going to press and hold the button again. until it flashes. Now you can see that it's back locked in at 20, so we don't actually change that when it's in our pockets or around our neck or in our hand, things like that. So that is back locked in at 20. Then lastly, on the back of this remote is the charging port. You want to make sure that this is closed. If Scout goes in the water or anything like that, this is waterproof. Both the collar and the remote are waterproof, but we want to make sure that these are fully closed. And if she goes in the water with the remote collar on, you want to make sure to take it off of her afterwards and make sure she's dried off really well so that bacteria doesn't get under these prongs here and make little sores. So she can wear it in the water, wear it when she's swimming, and then once she's all done, you can take it off of her, dry her off really well, maybe wait a few hours, and then put the collar back on her. So for the collar, there is the blinking feature that flashes green to show the collar is on and charged. If it blinks yellow or red, that just means that it needs to put on the charger for a little bit. And then here's our magnet to turn it on and off. Then underneath this collar is the prongs. These make contact with Scout's skin and allow us to communicate with her. And then next to them is, again, the charging port. You can charge both the collar and the remote at the same time, but again, if she gets wet or anything like that, you want to make sure that these are closed all the way. And then you want to make sure to take it off of her so these prongs don't create sores under her skin. Then we have the quick release feature here to get it on and off of her quickly and easier. But if she grows any, you may need to undo this part, loosen it a little bit, and then once that's fitted to her again, you can go back to using this. So that is the remote and the collar. Then we have inside this box here, I have the extra links for her collar here. If she grows any again, you may need to add one of these. Then we have the charger. Again, you can charge both the remote and the collar at the same time. Just make sure that both of those ports gets closed all the way before you let her into the water again. Then over here, there's two extra little prongs here. These ones are just a little bit longer than the ones on her collar, but since she doesn't have super thick hair there, she probably won't need these. But if you feel like it's not making enough contact with her skin, you can always try switching to these longer prongs. Then in this bag is the little screwdriver tool that we can use to take those prongs on and off. And then we just have the original strap that the collar came with. This has just the belt buckle thing and not the quick release snap. So if you want to switch it back to that, we can. And then under all of that, there's the instruction manual in the bottom of the box in case you want to read over the collar and the remote more in depth. And then on the back of this box is the number and email to contact about the 2-year warranty that we send the collars home with. So that is the features of the remote collar and the prong collar, and we want to be sure to use these features and tools that we have to correct Scout for any unwanted behaviors. We want to make sure to be firm with her, but we also want to make sure to be fair with Scout. So if she does a good behavior, a wanted behavior, she listens to one of our commands, we want to be sure to be rewarding Scout. Give her those pets, give her treats, praise her for doing a good job to let her know that those are good behaviors and we want to see more of them in the future. And again, be firm with her, correct her if she needs it, be fair with her, and also have lots of fun with her, especially for a recall. Have fun with her, get her excited to come back to you, and we want to be fun and exciting so that Scout's excited to do her job and excited to work. So again, have fun, be fair, stay consistent.